Hey everybody, we just got done reviewing Hurry Up Tomorrow, so go check it out. It stars The Weeknd, the musical act of The Weeknd. I don't
The
I
musical man.
Abel something. I can't say his last Tree Face, I don't know. So speaking of music, we did our playlist for this month. So go check it out on Spotify. I haven't had the first song since like playlist number 3. So this time
Why
I
are you
keep
like blaming us? You make them.
I know. You
well,
arranged them.
I don't want to look like I'm conceited or anything, but
It's just all three of his, and he just shoves ours in whatever order he wants.
so I did give myself the first one to this time because I thought it went well. First day, Far Caspian. I don't know anything about this band. Um, I we do this every month, and this time I was real late. I found this band, and then it took me. I found like the other two bands like at the last moment. So this song I like. It sounds very indie. It sounds like it would end an indie movie where like the young people have feelings, and that's when they're like driving away in a car. That's what it sounds like. So that was my first pick.
I was very
And then
confused when I started this today because I actually listened to it at work before this, and clicking on the link took me on my iPad, took me because I didn't have the app downloaded. It took me to the website version of Spotify, and I hit play, and it was just like 30 seconds of this song without any vocals. So just that, I was like, is that all Joseph picked? But then it didn't continue on to the rest, and I clicked it again. I was like, oh, it's just giving me a preview, so I had to download the app. It was weird.
oh, I didn't know it did that.
I know. I was like, surely he picked something else.
Jared, you went next.
Oh.
What is this song called?
I was trying to look it up. I forgot to look it up, but it wasn't listed. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. Can you read it? No. But it's by the math rock band Toe. And recently Jonah picked the anime Sunny Boy for our podcast. And this was on the last it was the last episode of that series. And it was them. The scene's cool because it's like them trying to go back to their universe. So they're just running in space, and it's all trippy, and this song is playing. It's really cool. And then I've had this song stuck in my head ever since. I've been playing it like every day. But
So infect us with it?
yes.
All right, and then I think it's Michael's turn.
What if it's just math, the title? It's just like numbers and Japanese. There's like an equals and I guess it's not a minus that has a little curve to it. I don't know what any of those mean. This is the band that I was saying that I didn't realize they had this album because the cover looks a lot like the other album. And so I thought like I listened to it finally. It came out like 2 years ago, I think. But there are like 5 songs on there that I really liked, but this was one this is one that gets stuck in my head so easily. I'll just wake up and start singing this song. I'm like, why? I didn't even listen to that anytime recently. Why is it in my head? So I had to put it on there. But
I do that sometimes. And then it's Thomas. Thomas is not here.
Michael, give a fake reason why he put it on here.
Little Bird, Dan Smith.
Little Bird, this is the spoken word song?
Spoken word
song that the guy kind of sounds like Christopher Walken, but with a little bit of a Texas accent, kind of. So I kept just picturing Christopher Walken talking the whole time. And he said something about how he had like quarters falling out of his pocket and something like that. That's all I remember. That's all I got.
So I don't listen to a lot of spoken word.
I don't listen to it ever.
But they all sound the same to me. Like all the ones
it has the same tempo.
Heard,
it's always
like
the
same cadence.
I'm like, I feel like I just changed the words on me.
Well, Thomas has another band that he always recommends called Listener, who is the same guy. So that could be a reason.
Probably. Why does he have 2 bands?
I don't know. Stop doing so much work.
There was a spoken word on the album I recommended last time, but it was a kid, so it didn't have that lead-in. So it was just a kid telling a story.
Just a child.
Jared,
little baby boy.
Go back to you.
Moe Shop.
Oh, Moe Shop?
Moe.
Yeah, which usually means like cute stuff and like weeb.
Moe Shop, Moe Problems, man.
he has this one song called "Notice Me," and like the lyrics are pretty much "Notice Me, Senpai," which I really like. But he had a new single come out, this one, and it was really good. I liked it.
Okay, and then it was back to me, Odyssey, a rare thing. So it is a rare thing that I recommend hip hop.
Yeah, I did not think this was you.
Yeah. So mostly that's because I like the older stuff, and this sounds like the older stuff. It's very jazz influence, and I like fast rap. Nowadays, it sounds like everyone goes really slow, and I kind of hate that. So this was good. This I like. I really like this guy's stuff. He raps about like not common stuff that you hear all the time. It's like more just about like life and stuff like that. So I found this and I kind of liked it. So next up, Michael again.
This was one after I said last time which will probably happen again because I kept saying Instagram hadn't recommended music in a while, and then I just got like 15 recommendations the next day that were all good. This was one of them. This chick kind of reminds me of like if Lord and Billie Eilish were fused into a musician, and I like her music a lot. She didn't have any albums yet; it's just a bunch of singles, I think, from what I remember. But I like her music a lot, though.
All right, and then we go back to Thomas with Jack White. I'm shaking. Thomas likes Jack White. I know that.
I've only ever heard one of Jack White's songs before.
Really? I mean, you've heard the White Stripes.
True. This is true.
So, Jared, it's your turn again.
Oh, so A Lot of Speed is a band that Alex got me into a long time ago. I hadn't listened to them for years, but like last month I started re-listening to them, and I just been listening to them recently, and they came out with a new single. I really liked it.
Anyone back to Michael?
This was the other band that I said Instagram recommended to me. They don't have an album either, but they do have 2 EPs. But like every single one of their songs I like. I haven't found one that I dislike yet. They don't have that many songs, but like they're just very good energy and fun music. I like them a lot. Can't wait for them to have an album.
And then Thomas has "Hey Runner," I guess exclamation, "Hey Runner!" The
Hey
Arcadian
you!
Wild. So I think he put this to get at me because it sounds very country, but it didn't have the country voice, so that was okay.
Yeah.
It was more folk than country, so it's all right. And then I had the closer, so opener and closer this time.
Selfish.
Worn Down, Men I Trust. So it finally happened. I finally found another song from Men I Trust that I like. This is actually a new album, and there's a few songs I actually did like on this one. So they finally did it. Congratulations.
The title of that song is Sunny Boy Rhapsody.
Sunny Boy Rhapsody.
That took forever to find.
Why didn't they just have it on there? Why don't they just translate for us?
I don't know.
Because Spotify's lazy.
Copy paste into Google.
All right. So, speaking of music, it was another music-filled episode of The Last of Us last night. So, let's switch to that. This one was a flashback episode starring Joel. And wouldn't you know it, the character everyone likes, it made the episode a lot better when he came back. So yeah, we get kind of birthday flashbacks, right? Starts on the 15th birthday of Ellie, where she gets I already forgot. She gets the guitar in this one, right?
Mhm.
And a cake. Okay. And you know, she acts very childish. So she eats the cake with her hand, and I was very disgusted with her. So
It's
go
her
on.
birthday, Joseph.
She's a 15-year-old girl. They wouldn't do that. Aren't girls supposed to mature before boys? That's what I've always heard. But
Not
we
in the
move on.
apocalypse.
Not in the apocalypse. We move on to the 16th birthday, and this is the one where Joel takes her on a little field trip, so they can see a dinosaur, and they're like, "Oh, a dinosaur!" And then they go to the Natural Museum because this is the
I
safest.
thought that was way more immature. This
Really?
birthday because she's like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
dinosaur.
Yeah, I thought that
The
bit was the
birthdays
one.
seem out of order to me. Like
Yeah.
that should have been 15, and then so on and so on. And they go to a natural museum or history museum, and they pretend to be astronauts, and they get in there. And Joel is a miracle man because he somehow found a recording of an astronaut
Broke into
taking off.
NASA.
How the heck did that happen? I don't know. That is the most unbelievable thing of this whole story. That and that it's like the safest apocalypse because there's no zombies in the. They don't like the museum. They're not there to learn. They
Not
just
there.
want to eat.
Nah, not at all.
So you can go there. It's safe.
Mushrooms
Um,
already know everything, Joe. So they have a network that they all hive mind. So they
So
don't,
they don't
they
need
don't
to
need the
learn.
museum.
They don't want to go to space. There's nothing to eat up there. So we skip her 18th birthday, which was a little weird. I guess nothing happened that birthday. And then we go to the 19th birthday. And this is where Ellie starts to rebel. And Joel has a nice looking cake from that, the bigot man, and he makes nice cakes for Ellie. So we
It's
didn't
like
know that.
twice the size and chocolate this time.
And he goes in, but then he hears some whoopee making or something, so he barges in and he's like, "What's going on in here?" And Ellie's in there with a girl getting a tattoo and smoking. It just looked like cigarettes, didn't it? It looked like
I think it was
joints.
weed. but-
Yeah, I know it was, but it didn't look like it. And then so he gets mad and he's like, "Gonna talk about this." And he's kind of like, "No, when you're under my roof, can't be a lesbian." And and she's like, "Oh, I don't want to live here anymore." She grabs her bed, tries to go outside, but then they kind of talk it out.
It's like it's raining out there, idiot. You can't take it outside.
And then it's another happy birthday. So next year we flash. I don't remember how many years. Was it just 1 year?
No, it was just time.
Oh, it was just
Went
some
forward.
time.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 months, something like that.
Okay, 6 months. And then she's in her garage room now, and she's reading off a list and practicing a speech she's going to give to Joel. But then Joel comes in and he's like, "Hey, it's patrol time." And she's like, "Yippee." And then they grab their horses and they go on the easiest trail they have. And she's like, "Dang it."
I
And
want death now.
yeah, she really wants to kill, man. She just lives to kill. But they're going on the horses, and we found out earlier that she was going to ask Joel about what happened in Salt Lake City, because stuff's not adding up. So she's kind of like looking for an excuse to do that, but then they find a guy. It's Cypher from the Matrix. He's out in
Oh,
the
is that who
woods.
that was?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, this guy's familiar, but he's old and I don't know him.
So yeah, Cypher's out in the woods, and he's like, well, at first they saw a horse that was running with a dead body, and they're like, "Oh," and they're gonna check it out. And Cypher's out there, and they're like, "Hey, turn around, and you get bit." And yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I got bit." And they're like, "Oh, dang."
He got like a chunk out of him. I was like, dang, dude, you're nuts.
Yeah. And his last request is to see his wife. And Joel doesn't want to do that, but Ellie's like, "You gotta let him see his wife." And she goes off to get a horse. And Joel kind of walks this guy through the forest, and then they look out at this beautiful vista, and they're like, "Ooh, that's beautiful." But then and then Joel has to do the deed because he doesn't want to put the community in danger. And then Ellie comes back and she's shocked, and then they go and they got to go tell Kevin's mom about what happened. And Joel kind of smooths it out and like gives her the easy version, but then Ellie's like, "No, that you're a liar. That didn't happen." And blah blah blah. So that kind of catches up to where the show started this season, because we get the next scene at the dance, and we see where Joel was. He didn't just fly like Superman
Didn't come out of it, like fly through a window.
into Bigot Man's face with his fist or anything, but he was there the whole time talking to the communist wife. And he's talking about how Ellie doesn't talk to him anymore. And yeah, we repeats the scene from Joel's perspective basically, and then we go to the porch.
Did it seem a little less violent when he pushed?
Yeah, it
old
just looked
man?
like it pushed him.
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this time it's like, oh, I just nudged him.
Yeah.
Old guy's just drunk, fell over.
Yeah. In the end is the porch scene, the famous porch scene, I'm told, by a review. But and then this is where they have it out, where she asks about Salt Lake City, and he tells her what really happened, and they're all crying, and she has to forgive him because he saved her life. And I'm pretty sure I don't have to go over that stuff. We will, but then
Tells her what happens. He just nods, nods the whole time.
well, I don't know. He kind of talks too much.
He looks
in the
real
scene,
sad.
but, he doesn't tell her that. Well, one thing that made me a little mad at Joel was he was like, he doesn't tell her that, it could or it could have not worked.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's just like, it could have worked. He's like, yeah. He didn't say there was like 50-50 odds or something. So we get that scene, and then it ends with Ellie walking angrily to the theater back where we left her. So that was the penultimate episode. This one, like I said, it had Joel, so it made it a lot better for me. Pedro's acting somehow elevates Bella's acting somehow. I mean, there was still a couple of sketchy lines reads from her, like what was the one? The one, I think it was like they were on patrol or something like that, and she's like, "You're my partner, and I'm coming with you," or something like that. And I was like,
Oh, I'm not your daughter. I'm your partner. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
I actually like that line.
I was like, ouch, that kind of hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Joseph got offended. He's like,
aside from that, and I mean, the way they write Ellie is not fun, and then the whole cake eating, I was kind of disgusted. But it's just like, she's 15, man. She's not 8 years old. But
adults do that. People at weddings do that. It's a thing.
Smack them. if
Just
they
because
did
you
that.
want cake doesn't mean it was bad.
But yeah, I'm fine with the episode. The problem I have is the placement of it in the series. This should have came either before he died, like right before he died, or the episode after. And I think that would have made this episode a lot better. But
Or we should have had a lot more of these scenes where they're like
yeah, you could have spread it out.
friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like more like trail moments where they're
Well,
just like, "Yay, we're
I'll
having
jump
fun."
in on that since you're pointing exactly what it is. That is how the game is. These scenes are spread out literally. Some of these are changed and made up, like the Gale's husband, completely made up, not in the game at all. But these scenes are definitely they're just stretched completely throughout the game. Like you get this one. So the scene where he actually tells her is actually very, very different in the sense of like she actually goes back to Salt Lake City and finds a recording, and that's how she starts to realize, oh, like he's 100% lying. And so she confronts him outside there, and that's where she's like, we're done. Then she goes back and she actually has that moment with him on the porch where she's like, I want to try to forgive you. And I think that's when I don't remember where that's placed in the game. I haven't seen it yet on the timeline, but that's whenever you realize, oh, Ellie and Joel were going to try and be friends again. And then right after that, Joel literally, golf club. My only issues with this episode were I don't think the dinosaur one played very well. I felt really childish. It is straight from the game, except she jumps off the front of it into a big thing, but she feels more like a child in that scene. I can see why. I think that one, that part could have been taken out just because I just don't feel like it came across as like a child. I didn't mind the cake one because it kind of played a little more to Ellie's kind of humor. Like I'll say that I know you don't like Bella Ramsey, but like I think the writing is 100% why people don't like Bella Ramsey in this season. Like in this episode, she felt like Ellie to me. She felt like the jokes were better. She wasn't so immature and dumb. The cake was goofy, but I actually enjoyed the part. I just don't think the dinosaur thing worked because it's like, okay, you're 15, having that in your head, and then seeing her doing it at 16, and I'm like, I don't think that worked very well. But I liked because in the first game you get. I think it's actually just like a side conversation you can have with Ellie where she talks about space and wanting to see space and all that stuff. So you have this whole moment they build in the second game that's so impactful. I think they did a great job of like her excitement of seeing, because it's kind of like I feel like they do it better in the game. I think they did a really good job in the show of her getting to be a kid kind of for the first time is really like, they really impressed that in the game. She's like, oh, like this is kind of cool. I'm going to go play and have fun for the first time really ever, because I've been on the run or whatever the heck, shooting things, fighting, killing. So it lands really well in the game. But I think they did a good job with the spaceship scene. And like, he's like, well, I especially Pedro, like Joseph said, he does so well in this episode, just that you can see his like enjoyment he's getting out of watching her do all this. I think he played it perfectly. So I really, I liked the whole episode a lot. The only other bit would be the opening scene. So we have a scene that
I forgot about that.
yeah, so Joel's talking to Tommy, and Tommy did something bad, and then he's like, well, Dad's coming home, blah blah blah. He's like, well, I'm gonna take the brunt of it. His dad gets home. Dad's like, realizes he didn't take the brunt of it, so gives him a beer and gives him this line saying like, well, whatever, someday if you have kids, I hope you do better than I do. And so they kind of, it's like, it was a good scene, and it made the line heavier because he repeats the line to Ellie later on, but it's also one that I'm like, you could have taken, because the scene where she confronts Joel on the porch is technically not on the porch there, but where the scene where she says, I want to try, that is on the porch there. And but there's a separation between those two, definitely, for sure. Because like whenever he first tells her, she's like, we're done. I don't want to talk to you ever again. And then it comes around later on to where she warms back up to him. And so I'm like, could they've taken that little bit in the beginning and made that a little more? It just felt so quick to me, like her finally getting that answer and then immediately. But I get it. It's for the TV, and it is. I feel like it's very impressive how much they crammed, because like there's a lot of these flashbacks they crammed in one episode, and it flowed. Like I keep complaining about this whole series, and I will say Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross wrote and directed this episode, which they did the game. Or Neil Druckmann directed it. They both wrote it, and it's like, and you could just tell, in my opinion, like it's so much. The flow is so much better, even though it is choppy. Like I still felt carried throughout this episode on this narrative thread that we were going through, rather than all these other episodes which have been just like goof, death. I'm like, it's just this one was, and I'm so excited because they both did the last one too. So the next episode is done by them as well. Because like I came into this like, oh god, I'm so tired of watching this show. And then finally I'm like, I'm excited for the next episode. And it's so nice to say that, because this was like, Alex, we finished this and Alex is just like, this feels like Last of Us again. It finally feels like we have the tone, the mood, and it was consistent. It wasn't and we were literally jumping around timelines, but it felt consistent to the whole thing. And I'm like, good Lord, why could they not have been like Neil, put a pause on your game development stuff, work on the show, finish it. You just got one more season, come back, work for the rest of the season 3, and then go back to your games, because this show needs it so badly. Because like I said, like the writing was just, I did. You said you didn't like the scene where she says that partner thing, and I don't know, I liked the way it impressed, because it's kind of hard to argue against Joel in that moment. Because I was thinking that line stood out to me, but it didn't stand out to me in a bad way. Because I'm like, how do you tell Joel, like, no, I'm going with you, nothing you say about it? I know it kind of added, I feel like, to that separation of them, like her going to the garage and then her also saying like, I'm your partner. This relationship isn't a thing right now. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I like this episode. I'll put it that way. I had very few complaints, except for the last one. And they've left out a lot from what I can remember in the game. But I guess it's not really needed. There are some dark moments that I'm like, good, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it though. They did a good job.
The next one's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very strange. 7 episodes, but what'd you think, Jerry?
What'd you think?
I liked it. It was a breath of fresh air after the last episodes we've been watching, with the whole like playing guitar during a sneak mission. But the cake didn't bother me. The dinosaur did bother me a little. I was like, you're not 2. Don't get off the dinosaur.
I felt like she should have been rebelling at 16, and then it just seemed all out of whack. I was like, what? Do you guys not know birthdays, or what's going on?
I did like, after every time Joel kind of messed up with the relationship, he kind of learned from it the next time and kind of like eased into it. Like for the first time with the girl that he walks in on later on, he's asking her about Dina, and like, I'm sure she'd be
I saw
lucky
someone
to have you.
complain about that scene. I'm like, what? Why are you complaining about this? He totally changes.
Yeah, I like
his tune the next day.
They did a good job showing growth of making it believable throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that. aspect of the episode, and it just really made me bummed out that like the first season we didn't get these scenes with them like being pseudo father and daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did have a few issues. I didn't really like the first scene with the dad. I thought it was weird because it was like, oh, he's abusive, he's bad, but he's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's okay. It was just like I couldn't go for the tone they were going for. And it still confuses me who's older, Joel or Tommy. I still can't figure that out. And then I think they really dropped the ball because I read a review and it was telling me, like you said, she goes to Salt Lake City to find out the stuff. I don't think I would have liked that better than this Eugene part because I kind of like the Eugene part. I like it from Joel's perspective that he does whatever he needs to do to protect his family, his community. I didn't like the part where they went back to tell the wife how she died. I don't like how Ellie like blew up and like, you lied, you did that. I understand that she values the truth because of what she's going through, but I don't think you do it right there in that instant, right next to the wife. It just seems very unnecessary to do it at that instant. Maybe do
I
it
don't think
later.
Ellie would hurt someone just
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty it was for the scene is what it for, not for the characters.
Yeah,
what that was written for.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I thought it would have been way more effective if like he's telling her this, and then he like looks over to Ellie, and she's just like disgusted.
She's just like,
yeah. I thought that would have just given him
Yeah,
a
I agree
look,
with you
and
there.
that would have been way better. I did laugh at a part I probably shouldn't. But there's a where they're in the house and she's like, Joel, you don't own anything. And I just start cracking up because I'm like, Joel, you're a communist. You don't own anything.
Took away all his manhood.
So I'm cracking up at that scene. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the best episode we've had this season. And then I'm told next season's going to concentrate on Abby, so we'll see how that goes. Because
I
like
thought,
that.
Joel was gonna play Aha because he knows the first
Oh,
time
yeah.
he played in front of her. I thought it was gonna be Aha again. I was like, don't play Aha,
Don't you
Joel.
do.
Do not play that song.
Poor Joel can't sing, and he told her he couldn't sing. So
I do. They took that line out of the first one. It's like, well, that didn't suck, and I love that line. It was so good. It's like, but it's just like, yeah, those moments that you actually have that feel like that the connection there, and like, I don't know, it's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's just
Why did he have to step away for this season? It's very upsetting.
I know.
It's very upsetting.
I don't. I understand why people are upset that Joel died in them because he's such a good character.
We've been watching a zombie anime for this next episode of our podcast, and after watching this, I'm like, I hate the whole trope of like, it's still a person. He can still make it. We can save him.
Oh yeah.
No, just let him wander off, or just shoot him there because it's
wander off.
It never helps.
Yeah, that's why I like that scene because like Joel totally made sense that he did that. But Ellie is Ellie, and she's gonna Ellie.
She's gonna Ellie it up.
She's gonna Ellie it up.
I didn't like the cake said Elliot or.
Oh yeah, what did it say?
Eli.
Oh,
Eli,
he can't spell.
Yeah, he got some Legos.
Yeah,
That's
those
some
are really
Legos.
for him.
Yeah,
Grandchildren.
Sure.
Sure. All right, some news. So we got the Superman full trailer. We only had a teaser for a long time, so we got the full trailer. Did you guys get to see it?
That's a good trailer.
You liked
Is
it?
it?
That's a good trailer, man. I made Alex watch it because I liked it so much. I love the scenes with him and Lois. Such a interesting dynamic and like way to tackle it. And he just gets very like, how are you seeing Superman get defensive? And he's like, no, I'm the good guy. What are you talking about? So good.
Yeah, I did like that line where he's like, people could have died or something.
Mhm.
So
I thought that was the Other Earth Superman for a second.
it is.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah, that's Ultraman. I don't know why he has a mask, but
I don't know why he's all black. Isn't he like usually white, like suit? Isn't it a white suit he usually has?
yeah, no, it's usually like Superman just has a
Mm.
U. I mean, the concerns are still the concerns. I don't love his. There's a lot of talk about his costume. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just I don't know. And then just like the Justice Gang or whatever they call it, I don't like that they're in it, but they're in it. So
Yeah, I'm curious how much, because like if it was anyone but James Gunn, I'd be really concerned about that. But he does such a good job with ensemble casts, so I'm like,
Mhm.
I feel like he'll balance it well.
Maybe he had to do it because he's like, I can't just do one hero. What am I gonna do? All right, and then we got another trailer, and this was for Ironheart for the Disney Plus series.
I did not see this
Uh,
trailer.
Okay, well, you didn't.
Dude, the more I hear about that show, dude.
Yeah, it's like in our not Guardians, in our Thunderbolts review, we were all like, we were up on it because it was something different, right? This is exactly the same thing they give us in every freaking like phase 5 or phase 4, whatever it was. It's just like, oh, this girl, she's a genius, man, and she's a genius, but no one recognizes her potential, even though she's an MIT. And it's like, what the heck are you talking about? It's just like there's no growth for these characters. It's just like I'm watching Apothecary Diaries. So if you want a good way to explain someone who's really smart, it's like watch something like that because she is real smart, but it shows us how she got there. She has her dad. She grew up with her dad, who's an apothecary, and he's always teaching her lessons, even when she's older and she goes back to visit him. He's still teaching her lesson. And it's like that's exactly what you need to do when you have characters that you say are great. Just don't tell us they're great. You got to show us stuff. And it's yeah, this looks
Also,
terrible.
that suits your best idea if you're a genius. That's terrible. That looks like like Apple made it or something.
Yeah. It looks like a Halo like
Yeah, it
variant
does.
suit or something like that.
Multiplayer costume.
Yeah. Uh I mean, it's better than the comics. The comic one is terrible. If you guys have seen that one, it's awful. But and then the Hood is in this for some reason. The Hood is he's a gangster with magic. So that's kind of his shtick. I don't know why he's fighting this girl, but he's in that. And then Mephisto is somehow involved in all this, which makes no sense. But yeah,
The
rumors
literal
are
literal Satan of Marvel
Yeah.
is just randomly in this one. Like, what?
And then it has all that humor that doesn't hit that we're all kind of tired of. I don't. There's a part where she's in an elevator and she's like breaking out and supposed to be all smart, but all she does is like tear off some metal thing, and somehow that saves the day. I don't know.
She pushes the call button for the lobby and she's like, I'm stuck.
Help. Yeah, it does it. Rumor is that Marvel really tried to cancel this, tried to shelve it, but they couldn't because it's been done for 2 years. They've had it in the
Jeez.
beginning, 2 years, so or almost 3, I think it is, and they just have not wanted to release it because I'm guessing like Echo, they'll just probably release the whole thing at once, so we can watch it, guys.
Oh
I
boy.
like
Um,
that suit.
So the mystery of our time
Doom.
has been Doom the Dark Ages, and what the heck happened? Because no one can figure out why this game isn't selling or why people aren't playing it on Steam. It's weird because like you see this. I mean, I saw one trailer. I saw like the very first trailer, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's very metal, having Doom in the Dark Ages and stuff like that. And then I didn't really hear much about it. And then it came out, and from what I've heard from reviews, it's very slow. It's very story oriented, which is weird for a Doom game, which is mostly a first person shooter. And I've heard all kinds of explanations to why this isn't selling. Everything from like the gameplay is not very good to the soundtrack wasn't good or something like. It's like no one can figure out what is going on with this. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery, guys. Because it's weird. Because normally it would come out and then everyone would play it and then be like, "Oh, this stinks." But it's like it came out and no one played it. So
Yeah, it did kind of. I mean, I knew it was coming out, and I watched a few reviews of people who were like, one guy wasn't into it, but the rest were, and I was actually very excited for this game. But if it wasn't for Expedition 33, I would be playing this, and that might be the case. Is just people are just playing other things right now because there's been a lot coming, kind of out of nowhere, getting popular, like Expedition 33, and then also people are waiting for next month is Switch and all of the game announcement, everything that comes out, and
That's
also
true.
just the economy doo-doo. But I don't know. It is one that I feel like didn't have the crazy hype. Of course, I kind of felt like that way about Eternals, but I think that one did well. But I don't know.
I wasn't hyped because it was like medieval Doom. I like when it's just like Doom guy in hell. So I wasn't too hyped for it, but I knew Chris and Jackson were like super hyped for it.
Yeah.
I have downloaded Expedition 33. I haven't
Oh
started
man,
it
I
yet.
haven't gotten to play it in a week because I've been busy and I want to play it so badly.
Well, how about you help out Doom, Joseph, and play some Doom?
I don't know. HBO Max. So they started as HBO Max and then they took off the HBO and it was just Max. And everyone was like, "What are you doing, you stupid idiots?" And then finally they came back to HBO Max. So full circle.
Hooray!
Hooray. You know what's funny is a couple weeks ago I accidentally tried to start HBO Max as I was just like looking at my apps and I was like, "Oh, I want to watch Max," and I tried to start it up and it was like, "This doesn't work anymore. Download the Max app." Like, okay.
Whiteness.
Whiteness, the other white meat. I did have some other news that like came out today. What was it? Oh, Knights of the Seven Kingdom is delayed. I think it was supposed to be this year, and it delayed it to next year or whatever. So kind of sad. Oh, and then the joke that's going around is there was an AI Darth Vader put into Fortnite, and everyone has abused this thing. It's out there dropping F bombs and N bombs, and yeah, so probably should have thought that one out, Fortnite, before you put.
How did we not know that before? It was really that's immediately what I would think would happen first.
Yeah, no, that's what everyone's saying. It's like, how did you not think this would happen? But they did it. All right, anime. Did you catch up on My Hero,
I
Michael?
did. I'm caught up. I even watched the 7th
Nice.
episode right before
Oh
this.
my god!
I don't think we've even watched the 7th
I
episode,
have.
right?
Well, look at that.
Oh, fine, fine.
I haven't caught up. The only thing I haven't caught up is Lazarus because
Yeah,
I
I watched
haven't
Doesn't seem
it.
like you guys
I'm
want
never
to.
excited.
I watched it. It was about a cult. And that was about it. It's like bad Bebop. I mean, this is what it must be like for Michael and Alex to watch Bebop. It's just that's what it's probably like. It's just
That's sad.
a bunch of stories I don't care about. Yeah, but Vigilante, I'm enjoying. It seems like the production has gone up a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It looks really
Yeah.
good.
Because there was that fight with Knuckle Duster and like this real big kaiju kind of thing, and it was really cool. I was like, "Oh, I like that." And then we got introduced to that sword guy. He was kind of cool, and that's where I left it.
Dark Man.
what was the last one you saw?
The last one I saw was the sword man. He was gonna go kill the spiky guy, and then the crawler came and he's like, "Don't kill that spiky guy." And then the sword guy like messed up his face because Knuckle Duster had stopped him and told him
So
not to wear a mask.
Reintroduced to the sword guy.
Yeah. All right. And then, like I said, I finished Apothecary Diaries season 1. I made it through the music change because that really hurt me. I mean, I just really every time I turned it on, I was like, yes, the music, and then they changed it, and I just got really, really sad. But the end of the season, the ending arc was really cool. She does her smart ways to kind of it goes into her backstory basically, and she kind of juggles pieces, and it's pretty cool what she does. So off to season 2. And I think that's it for anime. Anyone else watching anime?
I'm almost done with Frieren. I have like 5 or 6 episodes left. So
That's not almost.
it
I
is
guess it's
almost. That's like a week. I don't know.
It's like a whole arc.
I feel like I did nothing this past week. I was trying to do things. I want to play Expedition and nothing. Sad. But
Any TV? Andor has ended, and it's sad. We
I
liked.
I told Alex I'm gonna start watching it by myself. So
Yeah, it's sad. Well, the very last episode, I didn't really care for. I mean, it was alright. It's just kind of a lead into Rogue One, which you would expect.
mhm.
But the 2 before that, Van, were outstanding again. I think even Jared kind of liked them.
Last 3 were pretty good.
Yeah, so it's just great. And then it's sad that we probably won't get Star Wars this good ever again.
That's all you get for
Yes.
Star Wars forever now.
Hopefully, we'll get something better. No,
But what about the Ray movie? You so excited?
I'm more excited for the Starfighter who's in it. What's his name?
Oh, Gosling and Levy.
Gosling. More excited for Gosling. That's how bad it is.
That's pretty
Oh,
bad.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I hope they can get these creators back somehow, but it seems like they're ready to move on, so can't really hold my breath for that. But just do Empire versus Rebels. Just keep it in that era if that's what. you
No,
guys
don't
know.
keep it in that era. 'Cause
Jerry.
that's how we got Clone Wars, and that was
Oh
terrible.
no, that was.
I hated that era. We just need something completely new. I know they're too afraid to do that, but
I mean, do KOTOR, but they're gonna ruin
no,
KOTOR.
don't ruin something.
Anything else show-wise? Did you watch anything, Jared? What do you watch?
We just started stuff for the podcast, but
No.
nothing else.
We have found out the Bear is coming out pretty soon, right? June or something?
Yep,
And dropping all at once like it usually does. So
those crazy bears.
Gonna be a good week.
we'll get to that week, yeah. The first week was so fun when you first found that show and no one
It's like,
was
what
really
is
talking about
this?
it. Yeah, it's like this is great.
So pretty.
Everyone was saying, "Behind you, chef." Yes, chef.
All right, YouTube. What'd you do on YouTube? Anything? I didn't do anything on YouTube.
Did you do anything on YouTube, Jared?
No YouTube.
I watched an interview to this today. On TV wise, I did watch the most recent Doctor Who episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
It
that.
was basically just American Idol in space. So they had a space singing competition, and then these guys from a planet that everyone is kind of racist towards sent everyone up in like a freeze ball because he was going to kill everyone because everyone ruined his planet. For the sponsor of the planet ruined the thing for honey. and then they saved everyone, and it's kind of a rinse and repeat of every episode they've done for the past couple seasons. Just it's just so over dramatic. Like there hasn't been an episode where everyone's gonna die, and I don't know how long. They're like if we let this go, the world ends. If we let this go, the universe is gonna burn. That's let's just have a small story for a little bit, and then everything. It's so dramatic. Like the Doctor gets angry at one point. He says he has a shard of ice in his heart and starts literally torturing a guy, and you're like, why are we jumping to 11 every time some scenario happens? Let's just have an episode. Just have an episode. Go to the beach. Do something. I don't know.
Just go to McDonald's for some nuggies or something.
We did get the answer to the old lady that I kept popping up in every episode. She apparently is a Time Lord by some name, and then she did whenever David Tennant came back for his specials, they did the regeneration, but he split into two, so they did a split into two.
Generation.
Yeah, so there's two new female Time Lords now apparently, and one's very subservient to the other. And I'm just like, all right, well, there's only 2 episodes left apparently according to IMDb, but I'm just like I said, I was just shaking my head. It's Doctor Who. I can't I don't know. but the YouTube thing I watched was I had listened to the author Dean Koontz's books, like the Odd Thomas thing. Didn't know anything about him, and then I saw on my YouTube it was recommended, it had Dean Koontz interview. Apparently, he's written 120 books or 125 or something like that.
He's like the Stephen King,
and he's sold like 5 million copies. So I watched the interview, and he's one of those people that had like a very, very, very tragic background and like dark history and everything like that. But he's just the most optimistic, like happy guy. I was like, he's a delightful older man. I was like, you're such a. It was a delightful interview. He's like very introspective and kind, and I was like, you're a wonderful person. So it was like very enjoyable interview, very enjoyable. But I think it's all.
I think of Dean Koontz as that Family Guy joke where Brian he like runs over someone and he's like, oh no, are you Stephen King? And he's like, no, I'm Dean Koontz. And he's like, oh,
okay. That's fine.
I did finish a book I was reading, but I gotta save it for when Thomas comes back because he's the only one that's gonna know what I'm talking about. So I will save it till then. YouTube. I felt like I did watch something on YouTube. I just can't remember what it was. Music. Jared, music.
Yeah, I listened to some things. Some things. Let me pull up the old notebook. All right. I know we're getting ready to watch some Weeknd, so I didn't listen to any Weeknd. I finally listened to all of Death Grips. So they're kind of like noise music with like political rap, because it's a lot of just yelling words at you and then just a lot of like odd beats and stuff like that. I enjoy them. But I'll start with the first album, which is The Money Store. This is probably their most famous album, their most like best received album. It's as good as I remember. There's only one song I skipped, so it was one song away from a perfect album. I always have good memories of this album because this is the album that got me through the hardest parts of Hollow Knight. So when I listen to this, I think of Hollow Knight and like the Path of Pain, if you know what that is in Hollow Knight. So it's always a joy to go through this. Then I got to
Silk Song.
And then I went on to No Love Deep Web, which is their second album, and it has a giant peepee on it. So it's censored, and it was very hard to listen to this at work because I couldn't have it open on my desktop. So I was like, oh crap.
I thought it was censored.
You can still tell what it is. I like this album. It's not as good as the first album, but it's still good. I didn't have much to say about it. Pretty much just wrote down the songs I did like from it. But it's still not. It's just not as good as the first one. And then we get to Government Plates. This is probably my least favorite album. Definitely their weakest entry into their discography. I don't know. It's not radically different from the other albums. It just doesn't vibe with me for some reason. I can't tell you why. It just doesn't hit as hard. So I'd probably skip it. There's not one song from it that like really stood out to me. Then I went on to the Powers That Be. This is a definite improvement from the last two albums. It's a 2-disc long album, so I was like, ooh, pretty beefy boy. The first disc kind of sucks. There's 3 good songs off of it. But the second disc is really good, and it makes up for that first disc. So all in all, I did enjoy it because the first disc still had some good songs, but man, that second disc is really good. And then we went to Bottomless Pit. Really good. I love this album. There's one song off of here. What is it called? It is called Ring a Bell. Probably one of my new favorite songs from them. I listened to I stopped going through the albums and listened to this like 3 times. And it's not a very long song. It's like a 3-minute long song, but it is so good. I don't know why. I just loved it. And then I finished off with Year of the Snitch, which back in the day I made Alex and Joseph listen to. Um can't remember what they thought of it.
I don't
But
remember at all. Yeah.
this one is almost too experimental for me. I like it a lot, but there are some things I'm just like, I don't get that. It's probably for smarter people, but I just don't get it. But it is good. There's a lot of good songs on there. Um, but I think Money Star is still probably their best. Some sad news is that I found out like the two of the guys hate each other in that band, and they're like
Oh
on
no.
a definite like hiatus for a while. So we don't know if they're gonna get back together or what's gonna go happen to that band. So I was a little sad about that. So the next artist I decided to move on to is Jamiroquai. Like Canned Heat. Um, completely forgot the name of the other one of his singles. Virtual Insanity.
Yes.
I was like, I like disco, hip hop, kind of like funk. That's kind of what I get from him. So I listened to his first album, Emergency, um, his Planet Earth, and it is exactly what I just said. It's funky. It's like Bill Cosby music, like what would be on the Cosby Show, but like an album. Um, it's crazy. Like when you look at the because he's really big in England, I guess.
Mhm.
His first album, tons of listens to each song, but when you look at his like more recent stuff, it's kind of sad. I don't know what happened. I guess he's just stuck in the past, I guess, with people. But I only went through the first album. I liked it. There's not much on there that I'll remember. There's nothing like memorable like Canned Heat or Virtual Insanity. But I am excited to see or hear what's next. And that is all I did music wise.
Music. Okay. What are we on? Movies? Who did movies?
I don't think I watched the movie.
Jared movie?
The only movie I watched recently is I rewatched Long Legs, and I caught the parts that I missed last time, just like the stuff in the background. So that you said I missed the first time. So I was like, oh, okay, now I see. But that's all I watched.
All right, I did my three movies. The theme is hard to explain. It's like odd people doing odd things, I guess you would say. The first movie is called Wakefield from 2016. This is Bryan Cranston. He he's a business guy, and he comes home one night, and he's having marital problems. They try to keep it kinky in the bedroom, but it's just not working. So he comes home one night, and he's
Freaking
like,
Skyler, dude, just
he comes home one night, and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna go home. I'm just gonna go in our garage. The garage has like an attic. I'm just gonna go live up there. So he goes and he lives up in this attic, and like weeks go by, and no one knows where he is. They call the cops, and they come out, and they don't really look for him or anything. And he lives in this attic, and he watches his family the whole time, and he just thinks about his wife the whole time. And there's like these mentally disabled kids across the street that see him, and they kind of like wave at him, and he's like tries to hide. And he feels guilty for eating his family's food, so he starts just going around garbage cans and getting food out garbage cans and stuff like that. And then
becomes a hobo.
yeah, he's got like a bucket for his waste that he used. And um he realizes like the family's gonna go on vacation, so he's like, "Oh no, I gotta get out of the attic because all the vacation stuff's up here." So he has to go sleep in like the woods, which he's like, "Oh, this is kind of nice," but then mosquitoes start biting. He's like, "Oh, I hate this." And there's like a person with a shower for some reason across the street in his basement, so he like goes in there and takes showers every night. Uh, and then he finally realizes his wife kind of starts seeing someone else, so he kind of finally realized that he loves his wife. But then it's like how do you explain this, that you just you just didn't come down from the stairs for it's been like months. And he's like, how do I explain this to my family? Um, because I don't know how you would explain that, but the ending was basically it ends with him just like walking in the door and everyone just staring at him, and that's how it ends. It's like it's like what? Um, so the next one was called Mother Couch. Mother, comma couch. I don't know how you would say that, but that's how it is. This is from 2023. This one stars Ewan McGregor, and he in that Ray. How do you say that guy's name? Race Ephens or something like that.
Oh, like Rise Iffins or something like that.
Yeah, he's in it. So this story is about a bunch of half siblings. Well, three of them. They have one mom and different dads. And one day, the mom was at this furniture store shopping, and she decides that she's just going to sit on this couch and not get up anymore. Um, so they call the brother, Ewan McGregor, who's kind of the responsible one. And he's like, he's trying to get his mom to leave. She won't leave. Um, the furniture store owners are really weird. And they're like, oh, yeah, you can stay here. We got some beds. We'll make some beds. You guys can stay here. There's a shower for some reason in the break room. And, I'll make you dinner. And so he's like staying. And then he's freaking out because his family's freaking out. Why won't he come home? And it's because he's like with his mom. And it just gets weirder and weirder. And you just like by the end, you're like, is this just like a metaphor for like bad parents? Is what I got from it, and trying to like accept that you might not have come from the best parents. And it was just a weird movie. So
So did you look for these movies or did you happen upon these?
well, Wakefield, I wanted to watch because I saw it one week and I was like, I want Brian Cranston. I want to watch that one. And then the Mother Couch one got recommended on because I was watching on Tubi and it gives you like recommended after. And it's like, hey, this one is kind of like that one, so it goes with the theme. So I was like, okay, I'll watch that one. And then the third movie is always hard to get with the theme. It never really fits that well.
That's Tubi
Um,
again. What the heck, Tubi?
I tried. It didn't tell me nothing. So the third movie I watched was called Lars and the Real Girl, which is with Ryan Gosling. And so this one, he plays a very, very socially awkward guy, very shy guy. Whenever like a woman comes to talk to him, he's just like, "Oh, I gotta go" and stuff like that. And then like he he lives in the garage next to where his brother and his brother's wife lives. And so his brother's wife's like really nice, and she just wants to get to know this guy. And she's like, "Come over for dinner." And he's like, "No, I don't wanna. I gotta go to church." And he's just a very awkward guy. He doesn't like to be around people. He doesn't like to be touched by people. And then one day he ordered because he's kind of a lonely guy too. You could tell he's lonely. So he orders this doll, if you know what I mean, like this realistic doll. um,
I remember
and
trailers for this.
yeah, and he orders this doll and he starts pretending that it's his girlfriend. And she's like from she's from a different country and he brought her over here. And like the brother's like, what the heck, man? We can't let this happen. Um, and he treats her like a girlfriend, and he's like, well, can she sleep? She's very religious, so can she sleep at your guys' house? There's no whoopee going on. And they're like, okay. And then so they're like really worried about him, and they take him to this doctor who's also a psychiatrist. And she's like, just play along with it and see where this goes or something, I guess. And then
I want to see where this goes.
yeah,
people.
yeah, exactly. And then she kind of like gives him therapy once a week because he's got to bring the girlfriend in for doctor. She makes up some kind of disease she has, so she's got to watch her for that. And then the whole town finds out, and they're like laughing. But then they kind of start playing along too. Like they say, oh, the girl, she gets like a job as a mannequin at the mall, and they tell her like she's a model now, and then she helps out like at the beauty salon, like doing hair and stuff like that. So she gets like really busy, and then Ryan Gosling gets like jealous because she's got stuff to do and he doesn't. And he like comes home one day and he's like, "You're my girlfriend. You got to do stuff with me." And they like get mad at him, like she has her own life and she's got stuff to do, man. And then so finally, because there's been this girl at work who really interested in him, but he's always been like way too shy, and so she starts dating someone else and he gets jealous, and then she breaks up with this guy, and so he's like, my girlfriend, I got to drop her off at the school board meeting because she's been elected to the school board or whatever. So let's go on a date, or not a date, but let's go bowling. Let's do something fun. And he's like, okay. So he kind of like learns to open up to someone else, and so it's time that the girlfriend's got to go away. So he's like, oh no. He starts screaming at night one night, and the brother goes up there and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, she's unconscious, she won't wake up. So they're like, so they call 911, and they come and pick up the doll.
Don't you die on me.
Yeah, they take her to the hospital, and they're like she's dying, and he's like, oh, he's all sad, and everyone's all sad because they're dying. They're like, the church is praying for her because she's dying, and so he kind of like they go through this where he like takes her on her last walk to the lake or whatever, and then you just like see him in the river all of a sudden. And I was like, oh no, what happened? And she died somehow falling into the river. And then it ends with him and saying, hey, you want to go? Talking to the real girl. He's like, hey, you want to go for a walk? And she's like, yeah. And then that's how.
Oh my.
So, yeah,
Sounds like his best role.
Yeah, I always think he does comedy better than he does like drama, but I it was okay. I just don't really agree. I mean, I know it's a comedy. I just don't agree with like the town feeding into his delusion. I was like, you don't
It
do
worked.
that.
It was the perfect situation.
I mean, when you go through psychology, you don't do that, man. You're not supposed to feed into people's delusions. But yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot funnier when I'm saying it to you guys than when I was watching it. But yep, that was my 3 movies. So, you guys got anything else that we haven't talked about?
Got nothing.
Nothing. All right. Well, tell us what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and notify yourselves for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.